at me.
It always
All
looks
this
horrible.
wind. So we're in Warsaw. That's the next stop of our Polish adventure. So let's see what the city has to offer us.
Yes, we're going on the tour now, so just to learn a bit more about the city.
Yeah.
Welcome to Warsaw, good afternoon, and we are starting the Old Town tour. So for next 2 hours together we will explore the most beautiful part of Warsaw, the most touristy district in Warsaw, and also the youngest old town in the world, because officially you are going to see the youngest old town, which is 50 years old.
Visiting Warsaw's Old Town is like going to Disneyland in a way. 85% of the city was destroyed in the Second World War as revenge for the city's uprising against the Nazis in 1943. I mean, have you seen Old Town walls looking this shiny and new? And the most interesting thing is that the rebuilding almost never happened. No other European city has rebuilt a town in such a scale, and let's remember, Poland was under Stalin's rule after the war, so splurging was not an option. But people took it as a patriotic duty to rebuild it, with many citizens putting their own money into the project. Their efforts have been recognized by UNESCO, making Warsaw's Old Town the youngest UNESCO heritage site. So this bell has a really interesting story. It was built in the 1400s, if I'm correct. If I'm not, I'm going to write something down on your screen. But it never really worked. Apparently, its maker was really lazy, so the bell never made a sound. It was put up in the church tower, and people tried making a sound with it, but it never really worked. So it got removed from the church and then spent, I don't know, many years in the church's basement, in the catacombs of the church. And it got destroyed in the Second World War, so that's why you see some cracks over here. And then after the war, it got put back together, glued back together, and put over here on this square as decoration. And then a legend started that this bell makes your wish come true. All you have to do is jump around it on one leg, and if your wish is really simple, then you can do it just once, just one turn. But if it's really complicated, then you gotta do it 3 times. Well, I'm not sure if it works or not, but we can always try. Woo! After making our wishes, which still haven't come true by the way, we strolled some more around the city, finding some cool street art and the site of the old Jewish ghetto. Chopin is one of Warsaw's most famous inhabitants, and all over the city you can find benches like this, where you can just press a button and listen to some of his music. I'm gonna use that, you know. Another of Warsaw's famous inhabitants is Marie Curie, who was born here in this house, and here there's a museum dedicated to her, but don't go there, it's quite disappointing. There isn't much to see in there.
So this is basically the entire museum.
But after that, we headed to the Neon Museum, which is much more interesting. After Stalin's death in 1953, the Soviet Union attempted to reconcile socialism and consumerism, and neon signs were the authorities' medium of choice to bring some more color to the gray block buildings. Most of those signs have been removed in the late 70s and 80s, but this museum has restored some of them. Time. We were surprised to find out we could dine at U Fukiera, the oldest restaurant in Warsaw, commanded by celebrity chef Magda Gessler, for the price of a regular restaurant in the Netherlands. Gessler's like Poland's Gordon Ramsay. She's one of the judges on Master Chef and also hosts the Polish version of Kitchen Nightmares. I started my meal with some smoked salmon with red caviar, while Hugo chose a goulash. As for the main dish, I got a fish that the waiter recommended me, and Hugo ate half a duck. They were both delicious. But the best part of the meal was by far the dessert, called Soup of Nothing, which is such an ironic name because there's a lot in there. It's a cold vanilla soup with red fruits, pistachio mousse, meringue, and a bit of ice cream.
Schatje. No, no, I'm really not that much into sweets.
Shut up and sit down.
The next day, we headed to the Warsaw Uprising Museum, which tells the story of the local 63-day resistance from Nazi occupation. The Poles even managed to control the city center, but they were counting on help from the Red Army, which never came. They also lacked good weapons. They did get some supply drops from Great Britain, but they were definitely not enough. This is a very comprehensive and interactive museum, packed with information, photos, and footage. I was actually quite surprised to see how much material has been saved. But as you can imagine, the resistance movement was heavily crushed by the Nazis, and as a result, Hitler changed his mind from turning Warsaw into a German city to completely destroying it. Rebels had to hide in the city's sewage system to try and survive, and many died there. You can walk through a replica of the sewage system at the museum, minus all the code and poop, of course.